That's the nail in the coffin. The fact that these people have been taken out of history, especially with like like the modern people. That everybody who talks about these people, they only go back to Spain and that's it. 7/11, 1492, and that's it as far as the history of the Moors. When you got English history, British history, German history, Irish history, you got pyramids in Mexico, pyramids in Peru, you got the Vedas text in India or whatever like that, all talking about these people called Moors, and nobody's not bringing those up during Black History Month. Only thing they're bringing up slavery and all that stuff, slave trade, came over here on a slave boat and all that, and that's it. A whole month, that's all they talk about? A whole month. All they talk about is slavery stuff. So once we get this straight, they'll realize that we're not stupid anymore. We're actually thinking and we're actually studying, and you know, we want to make society better. But we're the only ones making society bad. Everybody's following us. That's why society is going down the tubes or whatever. Right? Ones who know, they study they have their history going on in the background. Right? They have their history in the background. Like, how much times have you, like, if let's say if you ride bus, right? When you ride bus, look at the disgust on other nations' faces when their nation's children come on the bus dressed like niggers, pants down here. Watch those people's face. They don't even care about what we're doing. They're mad that their youths are following the madness that our youths are doing. They might even pull them and tell them something. They never do that with our youth. They'll never tell one of our youth, man, put your pants up. Never. Why? Because if they do that, then they're giving us the power back. When we're supposed to be on the decline, so that these so-called multicultural whatever they could step in, they can take the place. But what they don't realize is that they're stepping in and they're taking place to be the new nigger. They're not taking the place to have, whatever they had home and then bring it over here and convert it to what it is over here. They're taking themselves to a lower vibration from what they knew themselves. Right? Any other questions?
So, in other words, come back to Ferguson, right? When they state state of emergency now, is because they're realizing that the Moorish people are waking up in the sense that now, like as you're saying, they're waking up to realize we got to take back what's rightfully ours.
Right. But remember that once we take back,
yeah,
once we take back what's ours,
yeah,
then they lose.
So that's where it's now
They
revolution.
fall out of power.
Right.
Because remember, their corporations
going down.
Their corporations pretending to be government.
Okay.
They're not really government.
Right.
They're corporations pretending to be government.
Okay.
And everybody's fooled into thinking that these corporations are government.
Okay.
Everybody's fooled into thinking that because this guy said, we use this all the time, because this guy said Federal Express, right? That they're government. They're not government. Right. Because they say federal. Okay. Nobody's not even going to tie Federal Express to government. Right. Because they say federal. Right? Yeah. But because, Stephen Harper says, the federal, he must be government, because, he got his suit or whatever like that, and they got a building, and then his address, and they got Parliament Hill and all this stuff, so they got to be government. But if they're a government, right, if they were really government, why do they say democracy if they're government? When democracy is mob rule, and the mob rules are beat you over the head with something if you do something or whatever.
So that's where the revolution now, they're declaring martial law for the revolution to try to put the black to go back instead of come forward after them.
No, they're back already.
Okay.
All they're doing is cleaning up the mess that's left over when they say martial law. It's already done.
Right.
If they say that they're black, they're already, remember, we put up on the board, civilly dead. They're dead. That's why they got all these coffins around here. People are going to be in those alive. They're not kill 50 million people to fill these coffins. If you don't have, if you're stateless, right? If you're taking the position that it doesn't matter what I call myself or whatever like that, then don't worry, they got something for you. And it's going to come highly unexpected. Because we think that they respect something about black or whatever. They don't respect that. They're open that they don't respect that. It's not like they hide. They're not secretive about, find me a Chinese guy they choked out on the corner. Find me Indian guy they shot up 50 times because he said, oh, I got ID in my wallet. It ain't happening. Certain things only happen to our people. But we don't want to accept the reality of things only happen to us because of our status. We want to take the perspective of things only happen to us because there's a white man and he's a racist and he's so racist that he's gonna do this and do that and whatever, give us Ritalin and all that stuff. When you ain't gotta give him Ritalin. That's the alternative. So you find out that this young man is whatever, active in class or whatever. He's not staying still, right? Only thing that you can think to do, give him a pill to calm him down. But Chinese guy is jumping up and down all over the place. He's not getting no Ritalin. You're gonna tell him go in the corner, go do your little yoga or whatever that your ancestors taught you to go calm down. European, they tell them go in the corner, face the corner, whatever. But as soon as I need to do something, oh yeah, give them a pill. But remember, we said that we're conscious, which means awake. So, you lying all the time, or?
No, I mean, that's more awakened, but the other one just seems that they really got awake.
Right? We really got to wake up.
Yeah, really got to wake up.
Like for real.
For real.
Right? And we know that it's a battle. You know what I'm saying? To get our people to change course, but that's why Noble Drew Ali said that he came to free us from mental slavery. He's not to free us from anything else, any other issues that we have or whatever. As soon as we fix this, everything else will catch up. As soon as we fix this, as soon as we get out of this mental slavery, then everything else would match up so that when we do something, it's going to have an effect.
And Bob Marley sings the song too, we need to free ourselves from mental slavery.
Yeah. And then everybody honors it, right? Everybody says, yeah, Bob Marley, everybody dance, skank it down and stuff.
Skank it, but they're not realizing that they really need to free themselves from mental slavery.
right? It's not a song.
No, I know the song. It's a reality.
It's not a song.
No.
That's a reality.
That's a reality, yeah. But they're just thinking it's a song.
Right? And who has them thinking like that?
Well, like you said, the European are thinking like that.
No?
Themselves.
Looking at this as some song.
Yeah.
When this guy's dropping prophecies.
Yeah.
Album after album.
Yeah.
All these albums of prophecies or whatever, and people are looking to some European Jesus saying, oh yeah, we'll read the Bible. If you listen to some Bob Marley songs, you free yourself before the Bible free.
Yeah.
But then, nobody, but they don't want to do that, because then you go that, then you're giving the Rasta man a little bit too much of the stuff, because the Rasta man's supposed to be just a weed smoker, and he doesn't know nothing, whatever like that, when, those are some of the most highly spiritual people.
No,
Especially if they're dealing with music or
whatever.
whatever.
The Rasta is really highly spiritual.
Yeah, well, just like,
Power,
it's just like Muta Baruka said, right? A few years ago, they're talking about Rastas, this and that, talking negative or whatever, but now they're telling Rasta come to school, come talk to youths, because we don't know how to deal with them.
Oh, yeah.
And everybody relates to the Rastas. Everybody relates to locks or whatever. Everybody relates to that. I mean, and I know, because it's hot topic. The hottest topic amongst Europeans is, oh, no, hairs. Wow, is that real? That's not extensions or whatever? Not no extensions. Real stuff. Really? Yeah. Yeah, I tried to grow locks, but it doesn't work. They get their little chuckle, Stop it. You're not growing no nothing. But once we free ourselves from mental slavery, right? Things would present itself to you to prove to you that you're free from mental slavery.
So that's our new motto. When somebody come and approach us, we're telling them we're freeing ourselves from mental slavery.
Yeah. Before we say that, we're learning about our nationality and we're confusing people or whatever. Let's keep it real simple. Yeah, we're freeing ourselves from mental slavery. What are you up to?
Yes.
Right?
Essentially, that's what you're doing.
Yeah.
That's really what it's about.
Yeah.
Right? Because once we get ourselves out of that box,
yeah.
right? Once we get out of that box, we open up our peripherals of thinking.
Yeah, our peanut land.
Then we'll start seeing things changing. Until we do that, it's this continued stuff that we can't stop, that we see, this is so big, how are we going to stop the enemy or whatever, We can't stop the enemy or whatever when those guys, this sun will kill them. We're worried about them. We're worried about them. They are no threat. The real threat is our own.
That's right.
Wants to keep pushing that we're black people. Wants to keep pushing that we're African.
He said none can free ourselves but none can free our mind but ourselves.
Oh. Well, everybody's going to somebody to do that for them. But it's really ourselves that's supposed to do it. And if we don't do it, then hey, you know what I mean? The stuff continues that we're complaining about. Continually complaining about. Over and over and over and over again. Keep complaining. And then we have all these leaders who know this information and they're not telling people. And we know that they know this information, as far as the leaders are concerned. The head of whatever organization, black, whatever, they know what we're talking about right now. And they're choosing not to tell.
Because they want to keep their job.
Exactly.
That's why.
Exactly. Right? But that's not really a job.
No.
Because that's pronounced Job.
Yeah.
And when you go read that story, you find out he lost everything.
Yeah.
So that's not no job. But once again, people don't read or whatever, so they think that they got jobs out here when they're reliving the book of Job. Right? But they know Jesus and they know Allah and all this stuff. Right? We're the most saved people. God saved us. We're the chosen people, or the children of Israel or whatever like that. But we got the most worst conditions out here than anybody. Have we been here longer than other people?
Yeah. And
You
we're
know?
not claiming our rights.
If you don't claim them, you don't have them.
That's right. That's the thing. That's it.
So you better claim them.
I did.
Right? And again, claiming the rights is a mentality. Claiming the rights isn't, oh yeah, this book said my rights, you know, you get pulled over. Oh yeah, let me check the book of rights and see if whatever. You better back them down with some law.
That's right.
You better start calling them mercenaries and stuff like what they are. Stop calling them officers.
Yeah,
Giving the power up. So we're the real officer,
Yeah.
right? The real, like for example, when we look at, right? We look at sheriff. There's a sheriff office. There's a sheriff office in this city where you can call him when something goes down. You don't need to call the metro people. He got office. He's the only real authority as far as law enforcement. Because why? He has an office. Everybody else is hired. And once they're hired, then that means they don't have office. So they shouldn't be called officer. But they're hired. As soon as you call them officer, you give them authority of the sheriff. That's why they come kick people's door in, steal their stuff, you know, whether it's legal, whatever, you know what I mean? Kick their door in, steal the stuff, you know, whatever the pillowcase, we want that. Or you on the mattress, we want that. You know what I mean? They're gonna go to court, say that they only got, you know, this much stuff. The buddy has all this stuff at the house or whatever. You know? It's repetitious. It's something that is constantly happening, but it's only happening to these so-called people that identify themselves as adjectives. It doesn't happen to everybody. That's why you know the race argument don't work. How much other people you hear argue racism out there? Everybody doesn't argue racism. Everybody argues human rights violation of something. They don't argue racism. Oh yeah, that guy discriminated against me or whatever like that. That guy's racist. They're talking about human rights violations when they get abused. We're the only ones that talk about race, racism, discrimination, segregation. You know what I mean? And then when they're calling the enemy, you know, white man did something. The old man looked like this board that did something to somebody. And if you're claiming that a man that looks like this board did something to you, you got issues. Serious issues. That's why we're the most that have to go, we're the most that go to insane asylum. No matter what you do. Some drug stuff, they try to put you in some insane asylum, whatever. Or you gotta go get mental tests for something. Oh yeah, you gotta go to Camp H, you know, check to see if your stuff is legit or whatever. They don't do that across the board. They only do that to specific people. And the only people that they go at is these so-called people that continually identify themselves as activists and rivers and continents and stuff that people can't be. And want to know why they're not respected. Any more questions? Whatever it is, you know, you got stuff you're dealing with or whatever.
I have another one. See when you get a title or appellation and you attach that to yourself instead of slave name that you were given, how do you differentiate who's related to who? You see, I can meet somebody in America or wherever that has been in the last decade, wherever. But how do I know if my relation is not correct? That's my cousin.
Probably is.
Right. How do you do that? Because everybody is grabbing their own appellations and
Well, the titles El, Bey, Bey, Al, and Ali. These titles are, in actuality, the five civilized tribes, right? That so-called Europeans would say is the Six Nations. Oh yeah, where's that article thing there? Have it? Yeah, just so we could.
Perfect. I'm going to research that tonight.
There you go. Right? So these are the five titles of nobility that the Moors use, but they're also the five civilized tribes of the Americas that we know today as the Six Nations. Five, and then the one nation, to make it Six Nations, is the Indians, right? This is November 21st to 23rd, 2014, Metro newspaper. Top court to rule on Métis, and non-status let's say natives. Right, so out here you have status Indians and we have non-status natives. The status Indians are all the ones that we know that are on the reserves. And then the ones that aren't on the reserves, they're the ones that we see walking around out here drunk or whatever all the time. Right? Landmark case. The court's eventual decision could vastly extend government jurisdiction to more Aboriginal peoples. So they're letting us know in the beginning that the so-called government doesn't have jurisdiction over all people that say that they're Aboriginal. They only have jurisdiction over status Indians. That's the only people that they can say do something, not do something, give them orders or whatever like that. Everybody else, they're on their own to do whatever they see fit, whatever, right? Now, we know that just like the thing that we showed earlier with the nationality card, criminalize the Moors or whatever, this is a ploy to get Moors under the jurisdiction of the so-called corporate government states. Because Moors are non-status, right? They're not going to put Moors up there, but no, we don't have any obligation to them on that level, right? The question of whether the federal government has the same responsibility to the country's Métis and non-status Indians as it does to status Indians and Inuit has fallen to the Supreme Court of Canada. Right, so top court's dealing with this, not the low-level guys. Supreme Court is stepping in and saying, okay, we're going to hear this, right?
they don't have to.
That too, right? The Supreme Court, even though it's called Supreme, it's Supreme Court of Canada, and we know Canada's private corporation. It has nothing to do with the land mass called Canada, right? Canada is only on paper for new people. If you go look at Article 11 of the Articles of Confederation that help establish the United States of America government, you realize in Article 11, Canada's mentioned, and that's 1700s, But then they tell us that Canada was founded in 1867, which means that there's two different Canadas, right? Exactly. So they got Upper, Lower Canada, right? And then they have this 1867 Canada. And then before Upper, Lower Canada, all this was Morocco. Whatever's above Mexico was Morocco, right? And then it went to Upper, Lower Canada when the French and the British were fighting for over here. And then when they lost the war or whatever, the French said, okay, we're going to take Quebec or whatever, and give you guys whatever, everything else. And then they said, okay, we're going to do 1867 Constitution Act. Actually, British North American Act, DNA Act, and then Constitution Act when they made everybody slaves around. The outcome of the case could vastly extend the federal government's jurisdiction to hundreds of thousands of Aboriginal people, or it could overturn a historic victory. On Thursday, the Supreme Court agreed to hear appeals from both sides in a case started 15 years ago by Metis leader Harry Daniels, right? And then remember, right? Harry Daniels, right? And then remember, L, right, is one of the so-called civilized tribes, right? But remember, Daniels is a European name. All this Aboriginal guy get a European name if he's native. Should have a native name. How come he has a European name? How come his name is Harry? What kind of indigenous Aboriginal name is Harry? Right? Just to show how they took the position of siding with the Europeans, right, in order to get whatever it is, tax card benefit, live here, live wherever, be able to walk up in the whatever, say, oh yeah, we're the Metis of whatever, and then get recognized, right? But then Moors say that they're Moors, and people want to, fight them. And, you're not Moors. No way that you're Moors. Whatever. You guys aren't the real natives or whatever like that. But they'll let these fakers, who all these guys, the so-called Indians, right? Everybody who classifies that has a card or whatever like that that identifies themselves as Indian. Their ancestors come from China, from Mongolia. They're not indigenous over here. As usual, the court did not give reasons for its decision to hear the case. The Congress of Aboriginal Peoples, along with several Métis and non-status Indians, took the federal government to court in 1999, alleging discrimination because they were not considered Indians. Right? So again, they're taking the position of undermining. They're taking the position of giving the fraudulent jurisdiction power by fighting them to be called Indians. Standing up for the fact that, well, we're not Indians, we want to be known as Indians. No different than so-called black people fighting for it. Why do you guys respect black people? You need to respect black people. No, they don't. Black people's a fiction, just like Indians are fiction. No need to respect it. But, because we have a society or whatever, we're trying to be moral and whatever like that, we'll hear your argument, even though we know we're not even going with that. But we'll just hear it just because, right? The Congress of Aboriginal Peoples, along with several Métis and non-status Indians, took the federal government to court in 1999 alleging discrimination because they were not considered Indians under the section of the Constitution Act and thus have been denied rights. Both the Métis and non-status Indians scored a major win last year when the federal government recognized them as Indians. Right? So now they're in the jurisdiction now of the corporate fraud when they weren't before. But if you're not under the jurisdiction, then you can't get the benefits. Like when the government says, oh yeah, we gotta help the Indians to do whatever, and then they give them some fiat, some paper dollars or whatever like that, and then they go and start something, build something or whatever, right? And they think, oh yeah, we made it because you know what I mean? The government gave us money and we built the whatever. We're recognized. They recognize us. No, you guys just sold yourself into slavery because you just admitted that you're not the indigenous people. Because indigenous people, they fend for themselves. You're not going to no corporations to go get some benefits in order to be native or indigenous. As soon as you do that, it's no different than when we talk to those people and they talk about all the treaties. Oh yeah, Europeans violated all the treaties and whatever like that. You know, they don't recognize Aboriginal rights or whatever. That's their fault. That's the so-called Indians' fault. Because they know that they don't have any jurisdiction to make no treaties with no Europeans around here because they don't come from here. They're from Mongolia. Well, you coming all the way over here to come make treaties with some Europeans in land that's not yours. And make treaties with people who's in land that's not theirs. Europeans not from here. Why are you making treaties with them in the first place? You're not supposed to be making treaties with people who aren't from the same nation as you. That's diversity of citizenship. And once there's diversity of citizenship, then there could be no arrangement. Whoever is taking the position of claiming to be the authority, they better prove that they're that. And you can't just go to them and, you know, on the assumption that they're the authority. Or what they're gonna do? They're gonna take the authority, give you some syphilis blankets or whatever like that, kill you off, steal all your land, and then you're blaming them when you're the one that made the treaty with those people. And now you're mad. You're not mad. Calm down yourself. Right? So now they're recognized as Indians, right? And remember, they're claiming that they scored a major win because the federal court recognized them as Indians. The Federal Court of Appeal upheld part of the decision. This is an important step in the long struggle begun by my predecessors as National Chief of the Congress of Aboriginal Peoples, Harry Daniels, Chief Betty Ann LaValle said in a statement. Chief Betty Ann LaValle. How's a chief of an Aboriginal, Native, whatever, have a European name? You're a chief. You're a chief of an Aboriginal stuff and you have a European name? You tell me that you got some jurisdiction over here? But if they know the game, if the so-called federal government knows the game, that these people aren't really the native people, then yeah, they're classify them as Indian. Because that's not, Indian doesn't have anything to do with this land. Indians come from India. So they're running a fraud if they're saying they're Indians. Because this isn't India. But you know, because people don't think or whatever, you know, fraud continues. But everybody knows if you go to somebody that's from India, you ask them, where are you from? I'm from India. Are you native here? No, I'm from India. Okay. Met this guy. You're Indian. Yeah. You from India? No, I'm native. What do you mean? Are you native to India? No. Why you call yourself Indian? Oh, but they're not gonna answer that. You know what I mean? Oh yeah, no, the government recognizes us or whatever. Here's my tax card. You know what I mean? It says I'm Indian or whatever. Fraud. Right? No power. The decision of the Court of Appeal was flawed in our view, as it drew an unhelpful distinction between the federal government's responsibility to non-status Indians and its responsibilities towards Metis people and status Indians. Right? So they wanted to get some grant money. So they agreed to be Indian. Just like the Chinese man who wanted to do business in South Africa had to be black to do business there. And that's documented. I mean, articles and articles and articles about it. This Chinese guy who wanted to do some business in South Africa, and he had to say that he was black in order to register his business in South Africa. But then you have Chinese people going to South Africa and they're cleaning out the mine in South Africa. Because Africa is really Asia. So if Africa is really South Asia, then that means Chinese people come from there too. And they can go there and do whatever they want. Because the jurisdiction of the so-called continent includes them. Because Africans are really Asiatic. But they're not going to say that they're Asiatic because, that means they're Asian. And that doesn't mean, Chinese or whatever. Have people fooled. So our thing is to clear up everybody's concept so that you go out there, you start dealing with all these other nations or whatever, you'll recognize immediately that somebody's been playing us. Most of the time it's our own people because they have all these lessons that we're talking about and they're not telling. And if they do tell, they're only telling in their little chambers that they say, come on, come on, you know what I mean, you're whatever, you know what I mean, and then they bring you, they blindfold you or whatever, make you do some whatever, and then you wake up and then you have one of these on. Then you have a suit, and you have some white gloves or whatever like that. And now you're doing these rituals and you're walking around and talking about, now I got knowledge because, you know what I mean, I got put on by my brother who was in the lodge, and then he told me about whatever, when they ain't telling anybody anything. Gaming people. Because you can't say that you're black and be in a Masonic lodge and have knowledge, because that whole thing is founded on us. Even that's our stuff. But if they don't put it like that, like Martin Luther King was a Mason. Right? So they took him out. Because he was about to give up the goods. About to tell everything. Gather dreams in the mountaintop. Promised land over there and all that. What do you think promised land is? That's your birthright. Promised land is that you didn't come from Africa. You're home over here. Promised land is what Drew Ali told them was. You come from Missouri. Come from Missouri. I'm going to have to show you. Letting us know what's up. And everybody denied this man's teachings. Right? All nations will turn against the United States one day. Which is where they're at right now. Nobody is accepting U.S currency anymore. Except U.S. There's just a few weeks ago, my mom and my sister went to Dominican. They're taking Canadian fiat in Dominican. They're taking Canadian fiat there. They never used to do that before. Why? Because, they can't accept the U.S. stuff because everybody's trying to find out that U.S. is a private corporation. Bankrupt. And they don't even have anything called collateral to say, oh yeah, make money or whatever. They don't even have a Federal Reserve. They're just printing stuff at some guy's house, say it's money. Everybody going with it. Right? Oh yeah. Right? Let's couple minutes. Quickly just touch on this. March 17th, 1993. Speaker James Traficant Jr. addressing the House. Mr. Speaker, we are here now in Chapter 11. Members of Congress are official trustees presiding over the greatest reorganization of any bankrupt entity in world history, the U.S. government. We are setting forth, hopefully, a blueprint for our future. There are some who say it is a coroner's report that would lead to our demise. It is an established fact that the United States federal government has been dissolved by the Emergency Banking Act of March 9th, 1933. Right? So not only, because remember, Canada is owned by the United States. Canada is not a separate entity, because, Queen over here or whatever like that. Canada is owned by the United States. So anything that United States goes through, is going through or whatever, don't worry, Canada's about to get their piece. Right? March 9th, 1933, declared by President Roosevelt being bankrupt and insolvent. HJR House Joint Resolution 192, 73rd Congress, M Session, June 5th, 1933. Joint resolution to suspend the gold standard and abrogate the gold clause. Dissolve the sovereign authority of the United States. Right? So if the sovereign authority of the United States is dissolved, then the sovereign authority of Canada is dissolved. That's why when you go on the Governor General website, it says that the Governor General is Canada's de facto head of state. Because they don't have any authority. They don't have any power. The only power they have is what we give them. Right? And the official capacities of all United States government officers, and departments is further evidence that the United States federal government exists today in name only. If something exists in name only, what does that mean? Right? Playing around. Exists in name only. So if they exist in name only, and all their offices, departments, whatever, are dissolved, how come there's still elections and all this type of stuff? Oh, because, they convince people that that's government and people are going to go out and vote. And once they go out and vote, then they just gave them the power. Once they get a letter from Canada Revenue Agency, old letters, pay this right here, right now, or whatever, you go pay, or you just gave them the power. And that's how they stay afloat. By us, by our people, giving them the power. Like our people, giving them the power. Because they know that they have no power. Right? They know. Right? They know. Right? We want to open up the floor if anybody got questions, whatever it is, anything at all, comments, some experience or something, you can put it up right now. Somebody got something. Somebody got a ticket or something that they gotta go pay.
Going back to the Ferguson situation, what has been the outcome so far in the past couple of days? In regards to the decision that was made with the grand jury.
I don't even know what I didn't after the thing. I didn't even go back to
Okay, but what
see what
that gentleman was. I think we were about to watch it where that guy was on stage about to go say something.
Yeah.
What we got from the other brother there, the email we got.
Right. Yeah. I didn't even look at it.
Okay, that's all right.
Look at it. Yeah, because you already know that regardless of what they say, there's not any, black guys ain't getting nothing out of that. Even if they say, yeah, we'll help. You know what I mean? we'll help, we'll prosecute this guy for doing this killing or whatever. You're, now you gotta prosecute the guy? All this time passed or whatever, all the gas money people waste going all over the place, go marching and picketing, staples people using, paper people wasting or whatever, going buying wood to make signs and all that stuff. And then now they're talking about, oh yeah, we're gonna indict him on some federal charges of, murder or whatever it is that they say that they do.
I mean,
That's
even,
not doing
even,
nothing for the
even
people.
in regards to the card, like I want to mention it as well too, is that what we really have to understand is that if he's had this card for a year, how come we just finding out about it right now? Is it that wasn't it important a year ago that we
Right.
didn't find out about it a year ago?
Right.
So I guess that what we have to realize is that, one, we have to do our studies to make sure when we get to this point that when we see stuff like this, we know how to disseminate.
You know what it is. Know who's who and what is what. Immediately. Immediately. Yeah, I mean, he could have, he could have gotten it. It's not like, you can't proclaim your nationality, right? But the issue is that why now? Why now are they bringing up this fact that, because they said that they were investigating these guys, prior to this incident. They've been investigating them, they claim. So if they're investigating them so long, why all of a sudden right now y'all bringing out Moorish nationality cards and stuff like that, putting that on, news or whatever? Because of the activity of the Moors. Because they realize that people ain't paying taxes no more. So they realize that people are going out here beating tickets. They realize that people are out here standing up for their birthrights. They're realizing that, when they say pay a fine, people are paying a fine with a money order and have ransom written on it. And now they can't cash it, but they got paid, so they can't say that they never got the money. But, when they go to the bank and they put that, bank's like, where are you going with that? You got cash that in here. That's a ransom. When we stop saying that people got arrested and start calling it kidnapping, you start causing things to change. It's no different than like we talked about. People are gonna go to court and see things going on in court. Oh yeah, the court's doing this, court's doing that. That ain't no court. They got a big plaque at the front saying administrative building. Why do they have a plaque saying court building? Why do they have hours saying court hours? Why do they say business hours on the door? And nobody's not picking up on something's going on? Unless, a Moor goes in there and starts telling these people what's up or whatever. They realize right now that they don't have a leg to stand on because they're a fraud. Not only have they been acting a fraud for so long, but people are now calling them on it. People aren't just sitting back now and just, who cares, you know what I mean? It's just whatever. People are calling them on their fraud.
Because we went to Staples with another brother, I won't say the name, with the Moorish card,
Yeah.
and the state was saying, oh, we don't recognize this, and it's not in our jurisdiction to recognize this. We only recognize the Indian card, right?
Yeah.
So they're realizing, oh, shoot, these people are waking up.
Yeah.
So that's why, as you were saying, why now? Is because the corporation really realize now they're going to be hit with the taxes and with the Moorish mind waking
Yeah, because as far as the taxes, remember that taxes have to be paid by corporations.
Right.
Right? Individuals, people aren't supposed to pay taxes.
Right.
But if everybody has license, birth certificate, or whatever, right, with the name written in all capital letters, that means you're a corporation. So you're paying taxes. But then when you come into the knowledge and they say, CRA, you know what I mean, and then they give you the, the red lighting, you owe, $100 million or whatever. Your first thing is to challenge them on who's this guy.
Right.
And and where did these guys get the authority to say taxes? Because taxes comes from War Powers Act. There's no war going on right now. Here, there's wars all over the place. But if there's no war going on here, then nobody should be getting taxed out here. But everybody's getting taxed because their name's written like this on ID and they never question. What I learned? I learned in grade 3 that you capitalize nouns or whatever. And then all of a sudden, you guys, everything's all caps. And then you look at the keyboard, everything's all caps. And then, you go anywhere and everybody's telling you print here or whatever. And print means write like this. And then people go with that. And then the thing that, like if we say license, right? Right? If we say license, they're using this thing as identification. But it has their name not written correctly. So that means you're lying on yourself. Because the people who set that up, they already know that this is a fraud or whatever. They're not, what I mean? It's not like they don't know. They know that this is an error, a grammatical error. That in grade 3, you put your name like this on the test, you get 0. I don't care if all the answers are right. If you don't write your name right, you get 0. That's how they do it in. That's how they do it in. When I went to school in Trinidad, that's how they do it in Trinidad. If you can't write your name right, I don't care what you wrote after your name. You get 0. You know what I mean?
So could we challenge that even without having a nationality card?
No.
Why not?
Because you have to prove that you're not this. And the only way you prove that is by showing something that's different to what they're saying.
Right.
So like when CRA comes to me and says, every year, we did your whatever, you owe whatever, right? Send them something. Who are you guys? Because CRA, I don't see CRA written in the Constitution nowhere around here. I don't know where you guys come from. You send me something, asking me to pay $50 million, but Bill of Exchange Act says that if somebody's saying you owe something, then they should give you a bill. And a bill needs to be signed in blue ink. But, nobody ever sent me anything saying it's signed in blue ink or nothing like that. You guys send me a statement of account trying to tell me I owe something. So I just want to get some clarification before I give you guys the money of who you guys are. I never expect, to respond to me in 10 days or whatever like that. They never respond because, what are they going to do? They'll say, you know what, throw out this guy's 500 million stuff that he owes. Let's just go find somebody else dumber and get them to pay his portion and what we're going to get from them. Right? No different than when they say, bill. And then everybody's going to go, they're going to get their little, fiat dollar, whatever, they're going to pay. But the company that they just paid is going to take the bill, right, tear off the bottom or whatever, get the bank to stamp that and pay with that, and then pocket the money. Because there's no money. It's all debt system. Right? But, they're not just going to go with it just because, we found out of this fraud. Because that's how they've lived for the past however long. I mean, they're comfy. They got their feet up or whatever like that. Like, just send that guy something. He'll pay tomorrow. Just put it in red letters. Don't worry, he'll pay. Yeah, but I don't know. Maybe the information. Don't worry, I just send the thing. He'll pay. Right? And again, they always send you that paper, the trifold, right? And then you send it in. You get it. We'll make payment at the bank. Pay here. Tear this off. Give this in with the money. Tear that off. Go with the money. You pay. They take the thing, stamp the thing. They don't stamp the money, right? Stamp the paper clip the money to that, and then they call that payment. But they're not putting the money toward that. No different than, you're gonna get, you can get a, uh, you can get a car loan you get a car loan for a Benz or whatever, and you'll pay that off, no problem, right? You get a mortgage, you'll pay that forever, because every time you say $1,500 mortgage or whatever, right, payment, they're taking 500, put it on the principal, and put $1,000 in their pocket, and they got their little mistress or whatever, and they go to Cancun on their money.
As a more
Right.
with contracts as such.
Hmm?
As an active more, it says here it's illegal. It's not right for us to do any such fraudulent contracts
Right.
with the fraudulent
With the
policy.
the individual,
Yeah,
right? But again, a lot of majority of the issues comes back to our own. Who knew this knowledge, knew about this fraud, knew about all this stuff, and they never told anybody. And then we had to find out by ourselves because, Children's Aid did something to us or whatever. Or, ticket guy did something to us, or taxes people did something to us, and our backs against the wall, and then, somehow we just came to this information about, hey, nationality and all capital letters names, and how come this didn't come up 4 years ago when my back wasn't against the wall? So I could actually, take this in, like, calm state, in a clear state of mind. Every single time that it comes into getting on this information with our people, it's because their backs against the wall, they're pressured into whatever or that, and then, the ancestors, bless you with something, hopefully that you're going to pick up on it and continue on, not just, oh yeah, this thing got me out my situation, so forget the Moorish thing now and then go back to being Negro over here. Right? Because, you're digging yourself a deeper hole, because you're supposed to be evolving, not supposed to be digressing when you get info. Not supposed to find out something, and then go back to when you didn't know that thing that you found out. You put yourself further back doing that. Right? And that's why when you look at so-called, people say, yeah, go back to Africa, and you go back there, and they got, a European doing a congregation with 50 million people in a field or whatever, talking about Jesus and all that stuff in the continent today. People want to go back there, and there's guys over there doing all types of madness because they're more indoctrinated than us. But they completely gave up on their whatever. They don't even know about Yoruba and all that stuff no more. They at least we're in tune with Shango and Obatala or whatever over there. We could at least say their name or whatever. They're saying that that's the devil over there. Any more questions? Comments? Everybody's good? All right. Well, once again, welcome to the Morris Temple. Go ahead. Oh, you're going to do your little plug right now?
Huh? Yeah, just a little plug, more or less.
Yeah, you'll do your plug.
Okay. I know you all have questions, and in regards to asking it within this framework, it's not being asked, but my email, or the email, is, please write it down and email me questions. Y'all have questions, because I still have questions. More or less, there's a lot of information that I come into and I push it out there. In regards to the classes that we have, oh, by the way, classes are Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. Fridays is 7 till 10. Saturdays is 12 till 4. And Sundays 4 till 7:30.
So these are the days that the consulate slash temple slash learning center is open. In regards to that, the days being open, more or less what we have here is for everyone to come and learn. So learning center. In terms, I already asked if you have questions, ask. I had a situation today where I was speaking to a Moor where he was stating that we're withholding information from the people. Right? He said to like he was upset and he's known this information for a while. He saw me do something one time and he thought that I'm withholding information. My answer to him was, if I told you everything that I know today, by tomorrow there's going to be trillion more information that you're still not going to know. The two main things that we try and basically, well, actually we strive that everybody knows is the nationality and birthrights. Those are the two main things that we're missing in regards to when they say that we're 3/5 of a human being. You have your mind, body, and your soul. Nationality and birthrights are those two things that are missing from us as a people. We'll build on that a lot today. But for us, there is a lot of information out there. Not necessarily that I don't have it all. I know enough, but I don't know it all. Cujo knows a lot, but he doesn't know it all either. So basically, don't always look to us for that exact knowledge that you're going to need. You're going to have to look for it for yourself. The two definite books that we always recommend is the Black's Law Dictionary, 3rd and 4th edition. You have to have that book, or the Bovera's Law Dictionary as well. You have to have that book. Also, get yourself an unabridged dictionary and start studying words. Only by studying these words that you're actually going to understand what's going on. But there's a lot of words that is out there that I'm sure that everybody uses on a daily basis. And I always use this word because I'm sure everybody uses this word every day. And if I'm to ask at least 5 of y'all, I could get 5 different answers. But the actual etymological answer for this word is this word means stupid. Right? So from that standpoint, you have to study. Nice. And we do it every day. Another word that we use every day is this. Okay? So, it's another one, right? But we mostly use these two. Okay, that as well. So, more or less, it might sound simple, but it's very, very important that we study. Did the kidneys a child go? The young go? Right?
So think about it from the perspective of what's like if we look at the issues that they say are plaguing our young people, right? They can put it like, oh, they act like animals. Because everybody's calling them kids.
That's it.
From this big. That when they go to the store, they go to the kids section. All these stores are on here training our children to be
Kids.
Animals. And when they act like animals, then we're mad. But, it's our fault because, they're children. We're calling them baby goats.
So, from that standpoint, as I said, even as simple as just looking up these particular words, as a Moor, in regards to finding out your birthrights and your nationality, the main thing that you need to be doing is study. Because I'm sure if we all were told that we came over here as slaves, first delineation that we have to come up with is that, is your slave master going to teach you the true information? That's the first question that you have to ask. From that standpoint, you will know, okay, you know what? My master's not going to teach me, so I'm sure there's some information that they've told me that I've never known before. You know, like for instance, when Cujo mentioned earlier in regards to Black History Month, which is upon us in the next couple of months again, I'll help us, but um, they're not going to mention Moors, right? They're not going to mention Moors. Why not? Right? I mean, it's Black history, so we could call it what we are. We're Blackamoors, right? We're Blackamoors. Adjective. No. But more or less, all they're doing is just giving us the adjective. I go on that again. We're adults. We know what an adjective is. We know what an adjective is, a descriptive word. Are you a descriptive word? Are you that black chair? Then it's just your black adjective. So I will end on that, but more or less, please, to the brother that I spoke to him and I kind of calmed him down, but he was really, really upset that I'm withholding information from him. Now, if you want me to read that whole dictionary, sure, let's start studying right now. I'm up for it. Let's go. Because I'll do it. Like, we'll go 5 days if you want. But I've done it, right? But most of us don't have the time because we gotta go to that joke thing every now and then, right? So that's on that. Also, as I said, the Learning Center is open. These are the times when it's open. Come here, study, ask questions. Like, beat us up if you have to with a question. You have to. Because only by doing that, you guys are going to get the answers. But we don't know everything. But you have to go out there and study most of it for yourself as well, too. That being said, in regards to what you see in terms of the DVDs, the books, the pictures up on the wall, flyers that we have, shirts and whatnot that we have. We also have dictionaries that we have for donations as well. I was able to get some dictionaries for everybody. So if you need a dictionary, we have them. We don't have the law dictionaries because those are very hard to come by. They're not let those are.
Especially now. Same thing. More are waking up, so everything's taken out of circulation.
It's hard. And
Take it out of circulation.
yeah, well,
Yeah.
let's put it this way. When I first bought my dictionary, my Black's Law, I got it for like $50. Try finding one for less than $100 right now. Try it. They know that we're studying now, and they're not let them go. Like I said, when I got these dictionaries, when I spoke to the librarian, I said, "Well, do you have any Black's Law?" They said, "Oh no, they're not letting those go." But I got like 200 old dictionaries, some from like 1829. Like old dictionaries, and they were letting those go.
That's this right here.
Unabridged.
So that's not, it's not the paper back Coles,
Mhm.
Barnes and Noble, whatever dictionaries,
Mhm.
where you don't have etymology in it, you don't have parts of speech or whatever.
Mhm.
It just says the word and then the definition 1, 2, 3.
Mhm.
Not those dictionaries. These dictionaries these dictionaries allow you to access more information.
Mhm.
As far as that word is concerned, the origin of the word,
Mhm.
or where it comes from.
Especially this word, you'll find it. It's there. But as I said, so more or less, as I said, in regards to it, everything is for donation. Um, like this is what keeps the center going. That and dues as well. So feel free to look around, get what you need. There's more than what you need on the walls. Start small. Don't just jump into everything because if there's a saying that Noble Drew said was, if I told you everything that you needed to know, you'd go to sleep the next day. Literally. So you got to learn step by step. There's a lot to learn, but the main thing that you need to learn on when you go home, whenever you get a chance, nationality and birthrights, exactly what those are. Because everybody around the world knows about it. Just an experience. I mean, I have lots of experience. I could go on forever, but there was a sister that I met, and she was at a fast food restaurant, and she saw me walking with my fez, and she said to me, "What is that?" I said, "Well, it's a fez from the Moabites." The question to me is like, like she was a young sister too. She's like, "How did you know about that over here?" I said, "Well," so I asked her. I said, "Well, where are you from?" She says, "Well, My nationality is, this she was like 14. She's only been here for about maybe 14, 15, she was maybe about 6 months she's been in this country. She says, my nationality is, but I was born here. First thing she said to me, because she wasn't born here, on this landmass. My nationality is, and I was born here. So far she's already linked her nationality and her birthright to where she was born. That's what I'm saying? So, anyway, that's it. We do anything else? But that's it, okay? Thanks, guys.
Well, no question, everybody's good? You got the email now, you know, you could bother Amari with questions. So everybody's clear? No questions? No questions, though, man? You good? Sis in the back, any questions back there? You good? Straight? All right. So we have our custom is we have a Moorish American prayer that we do. It's not, you know, hallelujah and none of that stuff. You know what I mean? Just giving honors to the prophet and giving honors to the Creator for allowing us to be able to congregate, to meet up, to study, to learn together. Um, the prayer consists of standing, facing the east. If you want to partake, feel free. If not, you know, you can hold your space. No disrespect if you don't take part. It's all right. The mudra or the hand extension is 5 on the left, 2 on the right, which equals 7, which is our chakras, our planets, days of the week, etc. Please repeat after me. Allah, the Father of the universe.
Allah, the Father of the universe.
Father of love.
Father of love.
Truth.
Truth.
Peace. Freedom. And justice. Allah is my protector.
Allah is my protector.
My guide. And my salvation. By night. And by day. His holy prophet. Noble Drawley. Ashe. Peace. Thanks. There's a lot more. Oh yeah. Let's pass that around. Well, if everybody could, if we get everybody sign in right now. They did it. Check the next page. Yeah, I think we got yeah, it should be in there. 23rd. There's a lot more. Peace and hotel.